Alfredo Pescador, age 44, was married to Blanca, age 40. The couple had 2 children. 19-year-old Leslie and 13-year-old Freddie. Leslie graduated from East Central High School where she was in the top 10% of her class. She received a full scholarship from A&M San Antonio University where she began as a freshman in health behavioral sciences with concentration on psychology. She was on the honor roll. She served as a student mentor at the Writing, Language, and Digital Composing Center. She wanted to be a police officer. Freddie was a 7th grader at Heritage Middle School where he was in the band. He excelled in music. He enjoyed spending time with his friends and family. He loved playing board games. He was a competitive Monopoly player, and absolutely loved playing video games. The family lived at 4418 Wrangler Run near Southtown Road in San Antonio, Texas. San Antonio, Texas is the 3rd most metropolitan area in Texas, and the 24th largest metropolitan area in the United States. It has a population of 2.6 million citizens. At approximately 11 in the morning of March 8, calls began to pour in that a car was on fire in the Wrangler Run area in San Antonio. When firefighters arrived, they discovered a house fully engulfed in flames. The fire was so intense all they could do was keep it from spreading to the other homes. When the fire was eventually extinguished, investigators located the charred remains of 4 people buried in the rubble. The bodies were later identified as Alfredo and Blanca Pescador, and their 2 children Leslie and Freddie. At first investigators believed the family of 4 died in the house fire. Arson investigators thoroughly went through the rubble, and collected evidence. A spokesperson for the San Antonio Police Department said that the deaths were being investigated as homicides. After a thorough investigation, police believe Alfredo shot his wife and 2 kids, then turned the gun on himself, committing suicide. Then Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office later confirmed that Blanca, Leslie and Freddie Jr. were killed by gunshot wounds, and Alfredo died from a self-inflicted gunshot injury. It was discovered that Alfredo quit his job, and planned out the murders. The bodies were all placed on plastic, and Alfredo purchased a firearm days before the murders. Investigators believe that Alfredo Pescador shot his wife and 2 kids, then set the house ablaze to cover the crimes, then turned the gun on himself, taking his own life. It's unclear what led up to the tragedy. Neighbors told investigators that Blanca mentioned on Wednesday that she was taking the children to El Paso for a family emergency, however that never happened. A vigil was held for Blanca, Leslie, and Freddie. Jose Madrid, Blanca's brother, held back tears as he spoke at the vigil.
Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
Basically, mentally I was not prepared for it. For the people who knew them to remember something special on their lives that they had shared. A laughter, a talk, a walk, spending time she's in a better place up in heaven with her children. I gotta find a way so I can continue with trying to accept this tragic loss in my life.
Jose says today would have been his sister's 41st birthday. He was surrounded by neighbors and friends.
The family grew. He could feel the love, the appreciation, the tears, the joy.
Jose said he was close with his sister, and the loss has broken him. He says he's trying to move on by taking it one step at a time.
Many of you have pictures and videos. Many of you have captured videos and pictures in your mind and in your heart. Tuck those away. And remember that they're as close away as that memory. That's how close that they are. And so on the count of 3, we're going to release these balloons and grateful appreciation for Blanca, for Leslie, and for little Freddie. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday, Blanca.
Alfredo Pescador's sister said, "My brother was a good father and family man. His wife was also a beautiful person, and always put her children first. Just an overall loving family. I miss them dearly." Mark Silver, a neighbor, told reporters he attempted to help when he spotted the fire.
First call was to Blanca and Freddie, right off the bat, right in front, and I was calling them, hey, your house is on fire, and it was, both of their phones were just going straight to voicemail.
He spoke fondly of the children.
And seeing her graduate, and she went to college, first year of college, she wanted to be a police officer, and then the little boy, seeing him growing up, and mowing the grass, starting to be a big boy and doing those big boy things around the house.
He said he wasn't surprised by the news that Alfredo murdered his family and set fire to the home.
But it was something that I wasn't surprised, just sad, very sad, that it happened. What I miss, the surreal part, is seeing Blanca and the kids getting ready for school, because we left at the same times almost every day.
Another neighbor, Michael Lawyer, says he was woken by what sounded like an explosion.
I heard a big shockwave. I mean, it shook the house pretty significant.
His father, Benito, first thought it was a tree that had fallen until he spotted the fire. He tried to assist.
I went to the door and knocked on the door, but the door collapsed and went inside. Put my hand out real quick and the flame shot out. And I was yelling for him. He's good neighbors. I was yelling and yelling so he'd come out. But he was tremendous.
The lawyers believed that only Alfredo was home. They thought Blanca and the kids were away for a few days. When another body was found, they were shocked.
4? He told us 2. That's the whole family's 4.
Kelly Caraway, a close family friend for over 10 years, was shocked about the loss.
I actually had just talked to her Monday, before Friday, before the fire had happened. And they were great kids. I mean, you couldn't ask for more awesome kids.
She was really close with Blanca.
She was the greatest mom. Her kids were her world. Her daughter and Freddie.
She said Blanca was very proud of her daughter's accomplishments.
She graduated last year from East Central High School. She was top 10% of the largest graduating class that they have had so far. He was excelling in music. As far as what I was told, that he was supposed to be doing a solo soon. It's just so unreal to even think about something like this happening, and then obviously the things that are coming out, throughout this investigation. It is very heartbreaking.
Elaine Juarez, a teacher at East Central High School, said it's a great loss. She continued saying Leslie recently took her criminal justice pathway course. She said, on our competitions out of town we got close. We bonded. Her fellow students that would practice with her every week miss her very much. She was just a great person to everybody. The East Central School District released a public statement that reads, "The loss of Freddie Pescador, his sister Leslie, and their parents in such a tragic event has deeply affected us all, particularly as Leslie was a graduate of East Central School District, and Freddie attended Heritage Middle School. Our thoughts are with their loved ones and all who knew them." The statement also assured that the East Central School District was offering the necessary support and counseling of friends, students, and any families impacted by this horrendous incident. On March 14th, the family released a public statement that reads, "Our whole world was turned upside down. My sister Blanca was a happy and beautiful person, and my niece, Leslie, and nephew, Freddie, awesome human beings and outstanding students. My sister Blanca loved to laugh, and her entire world revolved around her kids and husband. As we want very much to celebrate their life, it is a very difficult and emotional time for us to conduct an interview, and be talking about this incident right now. A GoFundMe was set up to help raise funds to bring the family home to El Paso to be buried. It has raised over $12,000 so far. Blanca, Leslie and Freddie Pescador's funeral was held on May 18 in 2024 at Funeraria del Angel Rest Lawn in El Paso, Texas. What drives someone to take the lives of those they say they love? David Wilson is a professor in criminology, and the founding director of the Center for Applied Criminology at Birmingham City University. Professor Wilson says, the key thing to grasp, which many people understand, is that these men were not just snapping. These men were planning this over a long period of time, and the execution of the plan had a performative element, but would often be very carefully constructed. He continued, we want to make ourselves believe they just snapped because it's somehow easier, psychologically, to accommodate in terms of our sense of what seems senseless. But it wasn't like that at all, it was very carefully planned. Professor Wilson as well as others in the field believe that it's not an unexplainable crime that sits outside the realm of understanding, but it's more in line with patriarchal misogyny. The roles of women and men in society, and a dangerous idea of what a strong, successful man looks like. Professor Wilson says, really, what we are dealing with is a performance of masculinity that was, as they would have seen it, traditional, and how all their masculinity became invested in their relationship, and their children will be seen as simply other forms of possession. He continued saying, I think what we're seeing is just how deeply misogyny and misogynistic views are in our culture. Professor Wilson states that our society has never tackled the actual truth that misogyny has been in existence since the beginning of time. If you are having disturbing thoughts or feelings of harming yourself or someone else, please seek help immediately. Know that you are not alone. Alfredo Pescador quit his job, and planned his wife and children's murders well in advance. It's unclear what drove Alfredo to do such an evil act. When someone decides to take innocent lives, it defies logic and understanding. Leslie and Freddie had their entire lives ahead of them. It's unfathomable that their own father felt he had the right to take their young lives way before their time. We'll never know the true potential these innocent souls held. May Blanca, Leslie and Freddie rest in peace. That concludes this episode. Keep your eye out for the next volume, coming soon. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.